Why did I stay with my shitty ex? Am I in a toxic relationship? How am I going to move on and find love? We're your hosts, Izzy
and Meredith,
and welcome to ExFacts, Relationships and Breakups. Relationships are confusing. When they end, we're left picking up the pieces and wondering what went wrong. So, each episode on ExFacts, we'll hear stories from real people sharing their experiences in relationships. We'll also hear from experts to help us uncover the deeper meaning behind our actions and emotions. At the end of every episode, we'll answer a listener's question. No topic is off limits, so ask us anything you want to know. From conflict and healing to dating and love, ExFacts will take you on a mind-blowing journey to explore all aspects of our amazing, imperfect, frustrating relationships. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of ExFacts, Relationships and Breakups. We're your hosts, Izzy and Meredith, and I'm really excited for the show today.
Always very excited.
So, Meredith, any updates from your situation?
Little quick update from me. Was having the house reappraised because it came in low, and that's a big part of my settlement. We got her a little higher, so we're gonna go back and see if we can't up the old settlement dollar amount, which would be nice. Seeing as I have no assets. Other than that, I maybe kind of got a little bit of a job.
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm not sure. I'm like waiting for it to totally fizzle and not work out whatsoever, because that's usually what happens in these situations. But one of my friends is friends with this like hairdresser guy who has a warehouse in Newington where he like does hair, but it's like huge and it's like punk rock forward. Like there's like a stage and there's a tattoo parlor and like all these other things. And he wants to make it like a destination where people can like come and like do art and music and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And like, he just wants me to help him like operationally. I think he still has to rent out all the chairs. But he also wants me to be like the face of the brand.
Oh, that's exciting.
Keep this intact. Yeah, we're going to start out with like a video and a photo shoot, I think, for the website. So
nice.
That could be good if it pays me money.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, other than that, hot topic currently in my life is the degree to which it's ridiculous how much people are obsessed with other people's shit. Like, what is going on in the world? So, you know, obviously I'm in the midst of a divorce. Got a couple people in the Rolodex, you know how it is. And one of them in particular is like sort of a person about town. So immediately, like the first day we hung out, even just like innocently for a dinner, there was like chitter chatter live from the restaurant we were at, which is in New Haven, mind you, about like, oh, she's wearing fishnets, like what a slut.
Seriously?
The first day. So like whatever, it was a couple people here and there, but then like his ex found out we were hanging out, and she like, we don't know each other, but we know like who each other is kind of. So she's calling me like a whore all the time, and then like her friend is calling me a bit like this, I guess kind of prominent, like she's like a trainer, like a personal trainer. She's got a whole gym and everything. She's like going around calling me a bitch.
Really?
I've never spoken to this person in my entire life, but I think because she had like gone on a date with him.
Yeah.
And like, then it fizzled and somehow that becomes my fault. So what else was it? It's just so prevalent. It's insane. Like the other day he was telling me he went to get a haircut and his hair person was like, how's Meredith? Really? She doesn't know me. She's never met me. She like knows my name. Isn't that insane? Like, why do people care? Get off my dick. It's very taxing. And also like, it just makes you look bad doing that. Like, why don't you have someone in your Rolodex you can hit up, get off of me?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? Have you ever experienced that?
I remember, not like to that extent, but I remember living in Montpelier, which was a really small town in Vermont. It is the capital, but it's tiny. It's like smaller than Glastonbury, with nothing, you know what I mean? And I remember someone like being like, oh, I saw you walking down the street, and I was like,
why are you commenting?
Yeah.
Like,
you don't need to tell me.
Yeah,
Just let it happen.
Exactly. And just being like really creeped out by that. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing where they're like, oh, I saw, and it's like someone I didn't know. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's like really creepy.
Yeah.
Somebody even would like think to say that they, you know,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and I'm like the type of person who would never even notice someone.
Right.
Down the street.
Well, and
So,
like, what is the expected reaction they're trying to elicit by telling you that? Like, how do you see this going anywhere other than being really awkward and unnecessary? What are we looking for here?
Exactly. Exactly. You know,
So
it's just like the assumption that you might know someone. It's just
Yeah.
strange. You know, if you haven't
Yeah.
actually like open yourself up to like actually knowing them, then it's like really
Right. Well, that's my, and also like people are going to talk and whatever, who cares? It's just like, it's so frequent that it's like wild. But yeah, like I don't know you. Like it'd be one thing if like we knew each other and they were like, oh, she sucks. I can't believe they're hanging out, whatever. But like never met any of these people. Don't have anything to say bad about any of them except for the fact that they're behaving like it's like I think they're probably lovely, successful, you know, whatever. Like I don't care. Do you? I want you to be happy. We should all just be happy. But like you said, it's not even a small town issue. Like it's
do you think it's a small circle issue?
It's a big circle issue because he's like kind of a, I don't know, like a networky whatever, just based on his job. So a lot of people like know who he is, and so even like anywhere he got, like New York, like California, like it's still like being buzzed about. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm just little old me doing the thing, sitting on a podcast and hosting trivia. Like, talk about something better.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess someone with like notoriety or like, I don't know if that's the right word, but
but it's not even just like gossip, like, oh, they're hanging out. It's like nasty, like,
like they assume they know you.
And like, why would you assume that I suck? Like, if I saw me, I'd be like, she seems pretty fucking cool. Good for him.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like, it's weird when people just assume they know something.
Well, and then another girl who I met like a couple times. Again, we don't really know each other, but we've spoken at least. She's like friends with him, and she was like, she told him to like be careful.
Really?
Oh my. What direction are we going with that? Like financially, like breaking a heart? I don't think I'm capable of that even. Or like I'm a murderer. Like what are we talking? In what way should he be concerned? And let me know so I can work on it.
That's crazy.
So that's fun. But yeah, I just like the ex thing. When your ex starts dating someone else, I think it's hard, right? Like, I mean, my husband, like randomly, I assumed he was just like staying at home working. He wasn't going out much. I didn't think he was like, you know, hitting the town or whatever, but which would have been fine. But like one day I came home and he like sprang on me that he had been like seeing a girl for like a while. And then he like spent the night at her place that night, which is fine. It just like caught me by surprise.
How did that make you feel?
I mean, it did like surprisingly get me kind of like, just like your heart beating, you know, like a little territorial, but like emotionally and like logically, of course, I want him to do that. And like, I hope it works out. I hope she's great. I want her to be happy. But that's not to say that I don't hope she's a heinous ogre because I want to be on top. I'm sure she wasn't, but I was very scared to see if she was going to be like better looking, more successful, et cetera, which she probably was. I don't think they're dating anymore, but I mean, point being, like, I think that reaction is very natural. Like we all get territorial, jealous.
How long they've been your ex, in my opinion, because like for me, all my exes obviously have moved on. And like other than one, I've never had an issue with it. I guess it's different when you break up with them versus them breaking up with you. That's one part of it. Or if it's mutual, like you know what I mean? It's a bit different, but one, like he broke up with me and then he was like dating someone else. Like
immediately. Yeah. Let me see what happened here. The old switcheroo.
Yeah, so that was my favorite one, and I definitely was a little bit over that one. But other than that, if you just like grow apart or break up with them or something like that, and then there's time in between, and then you learn something, it doesn't really do much to me. But like, but I get like how it's surprising stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, like, oh, I thought you were just kind of like waiting around for a while.
Right. I thought your life would be over after me. What do you mean you have good things going on? Impossible. Well, yeah, and I think like I said, the reaction is natural, but like let us take a moment, calm down, and perhaps don't act like a psychopath. Like again, because to that person, you doing that makes them dislike you. Like it's not a cute look. So what is your
and you
goal?
Just look small.
Yeah, like what's the goal? Because it's not bothering me, it's not bothering the other person. You look stupid.
Yeah.
Can't we all just chill the fuck out a little?
So what does said other person think about all this stuff?
Oh, he talks about it all the time. He thinks it's hilarious. I mean, I'm sure it like gets on his nerves too, just because we're both like, why? Who cares? It's also because like we're not really even dating, you know, like I don't want to be in a relationship. He doesn't want to be in a relationship. We're literally just like enjoying each other's company. This isn't like I'm gonna replace you as a wife and mother. Like, no, thank you at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
So everyone just calm down.
Yeah,
like, but there's still like chit chatting away about it.
Yeah, that's really dumb, especially when it's like you're just like
it's a totally so bizarre.
That's stupid.
Yeah. The other thing that I find interesting about like jealousy and all that stuff is, so you know how I kind of am flipping through my Rolodex, doing my thing, whatever, and I'm like a huge purporter of people should be able to like see multiple people. Like we talked about this before, but I don't think like your love for one person can diminish your separate and independent love for another person. But I've been realizing like as some of the people, because the people who I've been hanging out with like aren't really hanging out with other people, which if they were, it would be fine, but they're not. So I'm not used to like dealing with that. And then lately, like I've heard like, oh yeah, I was out with like this person and that person, which again is like fine, and I do it. So like wouldn't want to be a huge hypocrite, but it like I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
it's like a little like I wasn't expected to feel like that. I'm like, oh, do I call her and tell her she's a bitch? No. Do I shout it from? I'm not taking out a billboard.
But you're saying you empathize with the feeling that like
it's like I'm slightly, I believe, feeling a feeling the lay people call jealousy, which I've never experienced before, and it makes me wildly uncomfortable. But yeah, so I think I like it's actually helped me like get it more, because I think I was like being a little, not intentionally, but just like crass about, you know, like I'll talk to someone I'm hanging out with just situationally about like, oh yeah, the other day I was doing this with so and so and this happened, not like I want to tell you about my other thing I'm doing. But even like in passing, I think that like I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? Like if someone I'm hanging out with is hanging out with someone else, it's fine.
I mean,
but
maybe
like
it's okay too, in a way, if you want to really establish that it's not going anywhere serious. Then sometimes I feel like it's important to lay that out in the beginning. And just make sure that they're not like giving you, if you feel like they're giving you signals of like, okay, like thinking about plans too much, you know what I mean? Then you have to kind of like shut it down, because like you don't want them to like think it's something different than it is too. So it's like a fine line.
Well, I mean, definitely like the disclosure, and actually, yes, I think that is something you should do. Like if you're hanging out with someone else, just like let that be known. But I just mean like talking about like details of things that you did. I'm like, oh
no, I get that, and you have to be sensitive. I feel like at the same time, like I feel like one can give off the wrong vibe, you know what I mean? If you're trying to separate things too much, you know, when it's like, then they might get the wrong idea, kind of. You know what I mean? Because like you don't want them to like think it's something and then have to be like, and then have to like go through it again, you know what I mean?
I don't know, life is weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm gonna try to be less of an asshole.
Yes.
In conclusion.
Saying like in a way, maybe your over disclosure might have helped. Like there's a double-edged part.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Maybe they really know full picture of what they're getting, but like maybe they were like hurt, but like
Yeah, I mean, I think like we're all in an agreement about what's going on, but like it's just like not fun to talk about it. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. It's exciting.
About me.
Yeah. So on that kind of like maybe similar note, I posed this question on my Facebook group, and I thought it'd be interesting to discuss. I haven't really thought about it too much, but would you ever consider dating a convicted felon?
Well, what's the conviction? I think that's the number one question.
Well, that can be a qualified part of your answer.
Yeah.
Like what felonies would you accept?
Well, first of all, and this is, I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud, but like, I need to know the context. Like, even if it's murder, I might be on board with it. Like, paint me a picture. Like, what was going on? Where were we? What did that person do? Like, I just need to know, like, exactly, but also not just from their lips what happened. Like, I'm researching, like, court records, stenographer, pieces of paper, things like that. Like, I'm not, so I would say it was a very qualified maybe.
What about drug trafficking?
Oh, everyone I hang out with has done that.
Okay, so there's some felonies like you'd be like, yes.
Right. Like a non-violent felony.
Yeah. What about domestic violence?
Probably not. Just because, like, even if that person like went to therapy, got better, whatever, I feel like, and this is maybe a problematic thing to say, it makes a lot of assumptions, but I feel like anyone who would do that is the kind of person like I wouldn't even have chemistry with to date. Like, it's just like, that's a boner killer for sure. Like, circumstantial or not, whatever, like I could maybe, like, I'd be friends with someone maybe, depending if that happened, but I just don't think I'd ever be with someone who is like that.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I feel like for me, it would be, there's certain like no's, which are like domestic violence,
murder.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. It's like
think Shawshank Redemption. They could also have been like accused.
Or Yellowstone. I like all the characters in
Oh my god, don't get me started.
They all murder everyone.
I think I am the chick from that show, kind of.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think murder is completely off the table. I feel like aggravated murder of like a spouse, child, anything.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah. Any kind of like sexual. Kid fucked up.
It wouldn't be like a selling point, no matter what. I feel like, you know.
Well, certainly, certainly not.
But I feel like under certain circumstances.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, this is interesting and related, I feel. A few years ago, like when I was in college, I found out that my drama teacher from high school, who I was like pretty close to, went to jail for like, I don't know if they called it rape or sexual assault or what, like a minor boy.
Oh,
he was a boy.
Yeah.
Which was interesting on so many levels. Like, first of all, I think he was never like out of the closet. Everyone fucking knew he was gay. Or whatever, open, who cares? But I think it was like an even bigger scandal that it was a boy than it would have been if it was a girl, which is like fucked up.
Yeah, that is.
But he, like, looking back, I think, and this might get me into trouble, I don't know what happened, and it's not okay. Like, either way, it's a minor, they can consent, not okay. But he had like very close friendshipy relationships with some of his students, which, like, now that I think about it, with a high school student, like, you know, because some people are mature and smart, and like you can have the ability to have like kind of an adult relationship with such a big age differential. Like, I want to say he was maybe 40 when he was teaching. And like, I had a great relationship with him. Like, he used to give me my own projects because like I didn't need to do the stupid shit the rest of the class was doing. And like, we would like chit chat, and he was like that with a lot of different people. So it seems to me that like he probably lived that life for so long, and he would like go to kids' house, like the parents all knew him and like loved him, and he was close with everyone. He probably lived that life for so long that he like flew a little too close to the sun in whatever sort of circumstance that played out to be. But I think my point is, like, without knowing what happened, my initial reaction when I heard about that was to feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, he's probably like, I kind of want to like write him a letter and be like, keep your chin up.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting that I like, part of me was like, I could see how something, but I just don't see him like maliciously, you know what I mean? Like planting a whole entrapment scenario. But it's kind of fucked up regardless. I don't know, like no one knows what he's up to. He's probably out.
Context, you know.
I think what colors my opinion as well is that I was a little monster in high school. Like I used to like bake cakes for adult teachers, and like I think I made a substitute teacher make out with me one time, like forcibly.
Really?
Yeah. So like I understand being that menace and how it's like
please elaborate on this.
No, it was just like a quick shameful thing. Neither of us enjoyed it, but it was just something that I thought may be cool. And honestly, it kind of would never, you know, don't want to get the poor lad in trouble.
Okay.
But just having been that person, like I know how much people can relentlessly like solicit that kind of attention, and how it like could slip again, like underage, not cool whatsoever, any circumstance. But it's just like understandable to me because I used to do that shit to people.
And I think that personally, like underage is underage, but there's like varying degrees too in that, like
right, like if you're 17 and a half, I mean it's still not great, like date someone your age.
I mean I personally wouldn't like even be attracted to under 30 right now probably. But like
I'm going 40 plus from now on. I can't deal with this bullshit.
But like but you know, like a 17-year-old dating a 21-year-old, like isn't that big of a deal,
right?
But
which I also did.
Anything like under 13 is like
I mean,
like,
that's
totally different,
right?
You know, so
if you don't have a period and your balls haven't dropped,
exactly, then it's like bleh.
It's a non-starter.
So
well, I was passing by a college the other day, and even the college kids looked so little to me, like for the first time ever. Because you know how you watch like TV shows, and I always assume they're older than me, but they're usually younger. That was like the first time I actually saw younger people, and I was like, they're a little bit babes.
Yes.
I could never date like a college boy who looked like that.
I know, right? I mean, it is so weird, like the transition now from being like, oh, everyone's older than me, to like,
oh shit, I'm that guy now.
Some people are older and some people are younger.
Hit the med spot.
Exactly. Well, on that note,
we're gonna go to the med spot.
Exactly. Thank you everyone for watching, and tune in next time.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. You can catch a new episode of ExFacts next week. Hit that follow button so you don't miss out on any of the action. We want to hear from you, so leave us a comment or review. Until next time, bye.